Welcome to a special Valentine's Day episode of Hope for Marriages, a ministry within City of Hope, Houston. Here we explore the joys and challenges of marriage, rooted in God's Word. Today, join Pastor Darick Rutley and First Lady Stephanie Rutley as they share real conversations, heartfelt wisdom, and encouragement for couples seeking to thrive in love. Let's dive in.
So, me and my wife here have been married going on 22 years. Am I right?
That is correct.
Oh, Jesus. When you've been married as long as we have, you got to start checking the calendar to make sure. 2025, in May the 20th.
You playing. It's May 10th.
I know. That's my mom and dad's anniversary. All right. May 10th, 2025, we will be celebrating 22 years of marriage. And after 22 years of marriage to you, I'm still satisfied, even more so. I hope you feel the same way.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I was thinking earlier how a lot of times people will say, do you still feel the same as you did some years ago about your mate? And the one thing that I've always thought about was how you can walk into a room and I'm so happy to see you, and then you can leave and I'm sad to see you go. Wow.
I still got that effect on you?
Absolutely.
Lord, have mercy. So what is it, though? What is it that make you still after 22? Because, a lot of people are afraid to get married because of that commitment. Especially men, I probably would say, will not get married because they enjoy having autonomy and variety as it relates to partners. But for you, what makes it where after 22 years you're still glad to be married to the same person?
Well, number one, I'm committed and I understand that you are my person. If I'm gonna feel a certain type of way about somebody that I love, it's going to be the commitment first. And like I said, you're my person. I have to spend the rest of my life with you. So if I'm gonna find anybody sexy or,
Lord,
it's gonna be you. If the small things, people don't know this, but I like your hands. I think though.
Yeah. Jesus.
I think your hands are sexy to me. I like
Lord,
the little hairs. That I know that's my thing though.
Now I'm a contractor. That's what I do for a living. I'm a carpenter. I work with my hands, so I think I better start wearing gloves to take care of one of my biggest investments.
No. I don't think it's that. I just think it's, people got other things that they like. Some women like he got, nice eyes or, his physique. I'm not real big on physique. That's not, my thing. I find things that are not ordinary.
Right.
Some men like feet, but
right.
I like hands. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's just say I'm glad I got good ones then. If that's what you like.
Look at how the hair come down.
That's right. Don't forget these hairs over here now.
Anyway, so.
No, that's good. That's
so
good,
after,
wow.
So like I said, you're my person. So I find you attractive. Yeah. I find what's on you.
Right.
I try to figure out, do I like that? Am I attracted to that? So,
right.
And then secretly, I'm telling the secret now.
Uh-oh.
I pray almost every night and I ask the Lord to continue to allow me to be attracted to you.
Wow.
That is my prayer.
Wow. I don't know if people even think to do something like that.
We got so many different people around us. And it's not that we don't see other people and find other people attractive, but if I'm going to allow my, I guess you want to call it lust.
Yeah, I take that.
If I'm going to allow my lust to be projected somewhere, I want it to be projected towards you.
Right.
So.
That's good. I
pray and I ask God that. That's what you were saying. You don't know if people.
Yeah, I don't know if people think to even pray those type of prayers because, like you say, we know that there are a lot of people that we have to encounter, that we have to see, that are attractive in this world. A lot of people who have other attributes and things that could be attractive. And I think a lot of times people just say it is what it is. If she fine, she fine, or if I have access to her, I have access to her. Matter of fact, we were just reading today about some of the top 10 reasons why people in marriages don't last. And I think number one was infidelity. Infidelity. You know, that's a huge thing. I know that the standard for marriage is not where it used to be.
Right.
I'm not saying it's the majority, but a lot of what we see projected in media, it seems like people rather just have lust without the commitment.
Right.
Sex without the commitment. Have children without the commitment of marriage to a person. And that seems like people's minds are geared to just let whatever they feel in their flesh to have victory over them. Let that to be the final say so. Right. Instead of taking matters into your own hands and praying, you know, Lord, keep me attracted to the person that I've committed to. Now, some people I believe will be committed just out of morality, but I think we want to be committed out of desire as well.
Absolutely.
You know, when I say being committed out of morality, why you haven't cheated? Well, because cheating is wrong. And it's good to be moral. But wouldn't it be nice if you say, I actually desire to be with my spouse too?
Right. Absolutely.
You know, I don't know if people pray those type of prayers or have those type of conversations. And so, you know, I think it's definitely important and mandatory. It's not an option for us in our marriage to be married without Christ.
Absolutely.
Without prayer.
Yeah, I it's a choice. It's not something that, you know, I'm because like I said, I see attractive men all the time, you know, but I choose to make sure that, you know, if God can open a door for other things in our lives, why can't he open a door for me to continue to be attracted to you?
Wow.
Whether it's me thinking about, you know, 20 years ago or, you know, however I can stay attracted to you, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Wow.
And, you know, that's just my secret, you know.
Well, that's good. Well, speaking of attraction, my question is attraction the only reason to remain faithful? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Is physical attraction the only reason to stay faithful or committed to your spouse? Because the truth of the matter is a lot of women, at the end of the night, how they go to bed, they don't look like they do at the daytime.
I do. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I think that...
I mean, we're dealing with some real subjects here.
Absolutely.
You know, because, you know, we thank God for the miracle of enhancements. Let me use that. When I say enhancements, I mean makeup, hair, you know, things where you can enhance yourself. I'm not talking about obstructing your anatomy.
Right.
I'm talking about, you know, your makeup, your hair, your clothes, your jewelry.
Right.
You know, a lot of those things, I think it's wonderful that a woman can beautify herself in whatever way that's appealing to her spouse. But is that the end all?
That probably would be a question for you, though, because I don't think there is many females. Now, I'm not saying there isn't, because I know, you know, you don't want to wake up to somebody you think just is not attractive. But at the same time, I don't know if the physical is a female's first.
Got you.
That is not always her first reason to say, you know, I'll date him. You know, I think the percentage would probably be more men, because from my understanding, you guys are more, visual.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So.
That's a fact. We are
so
very
that would
much.
be for you. How do you stay attracted to me? Or how would you, you know, tell brothers to, you know, so they won't wander.
Stay focused on their own marriage.
Right. Like, how do you?
Well, I think number one, as it comes to the physical part, that is important to us men. Mm-hmm. That's something that if a man says otherwise, he's lying. We're looking. That's usually the first thing we notice before we approach a woman.
Right.
Is she beautiful? Is she attractive? Do I see myself with her?
Or
now,
say attractive to you, because everybody's beautiful is different.
That's correct. Attractive to you. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is before you even meet her character. Right. She could be the terrible woman. She could be selfish. She could be mean. She could be arrogant. Mm-hmm. The first thing we see is natural beauty. Right. And that can be deceptive. So, to answer your question, physical attraction is always important. I believe, to me, mm-hmm. and I believe I'm speaking for most men. Mm-hmm. But you don't make it hard for me because you knowing that we're visual, consciously you make decisions to please me in that way. And I'm grateful for that.
Do I?
You're like you don't know.
I'm just asking because when you come home sometimes, I'll be like, I know I look like trash.
You funny. And well, you make sure you watch what you eat. You do your best to watch what you eat.
I do.
Unless I'm bringing a whole bunch of snacks in the house.
Right. Okay.
You try your workout regimen. You keep up with that. Trying to maintain physical fitness. Mm-hmm. You do some of the enhancements. You're focused on keeping my eye.
So are you more attracted to the fact that I'm focused on it? Because I said,
I was going there. I'll say I appreciate that.
Oh, well, thank God.
But what I will say is, since we've been married, first of all, we made it almost 22 mm-hmm. years in marriage. What's held this marriage together has not been you working on your physicality, the physical part. No. Because physical attraction is not enough to keep a man.
Well, you messed up the physical part. You gave me 4 babies.
You funny. Well, what I messed up, you've been correcting. So I'm sorry. You do a good job. But the truth of the matter is, physical attraction has never been enough to keep a man. It's never been enough.
I've learned that.
It's not enough. You can be beautiful. You can be the finest thing in the world. You can have this. You can have that. You can, I won't go into the particulars of what some of us men desire physically. But the point is, that's never kept a man faithful.
Gotcha.
Because even women who could be arguably the most beautiful women mm-hmm. on the face of the earth with perfect 10, in some people's opinion, whether their body, their face, their skin, their hair, mm-hmm. A lot of them have been cheated on. Mm-hmm. They've been cheated on. The Bible says that the eyes of man are never satisfied. Right. You got one beautiful woman here, and you got another one over there. So to keep a man, you got to have more than a physical beauty or physique or long hair or prettiness. It's not enough for him. It's enough to catch him.
Right.
But it's never enough to keep him. So for me, with your natural beauty, you had to encompass or have some intangibles that I just refuse to live without. Your beauty's got to be coupled with that. And when you really find love, mm-hmm. those intangibles end up taking the predominance over some of the physical stuff. Ooh, listen, this man, if you prefer to have a wife that's going to cook every day, if that's what you prefer to have and she does it, you better understand what you have and know what you'll lose if you lose her.
So is that attractive to you?
What's that?
Like, say, I think a couple of weeks ago I asked you a question and I asked about the 3 out of 3 things. I think it was cleanliness.
Oh, yeah.
Me keeping myself up. And what was the other one?
I don't remember.
Oh, cooking.
I was going to say
cleanliness, cooking, and, me keeping myself up. What was top for you? What was the top?
For me,
priority?
It probably was, I don't remember. Was it cleaning?
It was cleaning. I was very surprised, though, because...
Well, when you think about it, a mature man mm-hmm. who's had the physical, you've had sex.
Gotcha.
You've had enjoyment. Physical, you have to ask yourself, now that you've experienced it, is that the most important thing? Now, it is important, church. But is it the most important?
Right.
Because you can get sex anywhere.
Right. That's good.
And you don't have to have attachment. Actually, men can be so fleshly where you can do it without attachment. You can do it and never see her again. Because it's really not about her, it's about lust.
Right.
But when you have a woman who you can come home to that can harness an atmosphere of peace, peace, somebody you can trust, somebody that you don't have to worry about, you just want to go to the gas station so you can put this on and get some attention. I don't have to spy on you for you to leave the house. Do you trust your spouse? Peace of mind. Are you secure that your wife loves you and respects you and is committed to something that you all have built together? It has a way of being the enhancement that you need. Those intangibles, that's the enhancement.
So 21 years, going on 22 years, would you say that we've had any issues with trust as far as us going outside of the home to get that or to get what we need outside of the home? Like, has that been, has that raised the question? Because, you know, you got a lot of marriages where I think we were talking earlier about, you know, a lot of times church people, we're not as transparent when it comes to, you know, certain things. So, and we're church people, right?
Yeah.
So, can you say in 21 years that you've had an issue with, you know, me leaving the house, or you thought, or, you know, like, have you had that, or have I ever given you a reason, you know, to think that it was a possibility?
No. The immediate answer is no. You've done a good job. I think we've been committed to the marriage all 22 years. Have I had some concerns?
Really?
I can think of one time you and I got into it real bad. We were still living in Michigan.
What did we get into it about?
You'll probably remember when I start telling you. I don't remember. You got out of my truck and said, I'm going to walk home or walk to my aunt's house. And I'm like, hold on, I'm the preacher. You don't know.
Actually,
I got out of the truck. It's going to embarrass me.
I got out the truck twice since we've been married.
Yes. First time was year 3. Was that year 2 or 3? This woman got out of my truck. In the middle of this, what are we doing?
Listen.
And then that last time, you got out the truck and said you was going to walk home or walk to your aunt's house or something.
I did.
And I'm like, she tripping. Get back in the truck.
And I did walk.
Get back in the truck. Would not get back in and I'm like, Lord, this is not going to look
I
good.
Walked all the way home.
If social media find out that the preacher's wife then left, oh, man, the church find out that...
I don't even know what you did. It just whatever.
It was years ago, but I don't remember what the argument was. You won when you got out the truck.
Both times?
No, the second time.
Okay.
Not the first time.
Because I'd be like, I can show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah, it was, boy, that stubbornness, man.
I'm not stubborn. I'm just
but deep down inside, I knew. What you gonna say? I'm
very serious. When I say I'm gonna do something, please don't dare me, because I'm getting out the truck. You know, yeah, okay.
That was funny. I knew that you just needed some time to cool down.
So what did you think? Like, you thought I was... This is a first. I've never heard this.
But you do remember that occurrence.
I do remember.
So I played tough and I drove on home.
He did. That was a long street, too, by the way. That street, what was the name of that street?
That was M59, Highland Road.
That was like me walking down Highway 6.
Highway 90.
Highway 90, okay.
In Stafford,
yes,
Texas.
because it was light out and I got home, it was dark.
Yep.
But I walked.
Yep. And I knew you were coming home.
Either.
But I'm like, man, this woman has lost her mind.
So what went through your head? Like, I was going to go, like...
You were going to either call your aunt or somebody to come pick you up. That's what I thought you were going to do.
So you didn't think I was going to try to be with somebody else? Or?
Nah.
Oh, okay, because that's what the question was. Like,
oh, okay.
It was.
Well, that popped in my head when you asked. I've never had you've never given me a reason.
Got you.
To feel like you would not be faithful.
Okay.
Or you would leave. We've had normal disagreements, normal blow-ups early on, especially early on in our marriage. I think people used to say year 3, but it was year 2 in our marriage where
year 1 was, I think, great.
Year 1 was wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it was year 3 where we had that, it happened to be the same street. We were just in Pontiac instead of out there in Waterford, where the location of where we were at. And but at the end of the day, I think we always had a consensus that we'll cool off and come together and then have a reasonable adult conversation as to what went wrong and what do we do to make sure that don't happen again.
Sometimes I feel like that'd be the only way to get your attention.
I know.
'Cause like everything just gotta be spiritual. Everything is like so spiritual. And I appreciate that about you. I really do. Because when I need it, I need it. But for some moments, I don't need that.
Lord have mercy.
And I've told you, sometimes like you'll try to encourage me. I'll be like, I don't want to be encouraged.
Right.
And it's like, we saved. Yes, you are. You're supposed to be. I just need a moment to,
Right.
And in those moments, I think I was just like, okay, I need to get his attention because he gonna start talking about some bad faith and that's cool, but I just, you are so saved.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
And that's a good thing, because I would not want to be with somebody who wasn't babe.
Because if I was as stubborn as you in those moments, but I think that's what drives people to divorce, is because neither one of them are humble in that moment. Both are like, I'm gonna prove my point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold out. And both of the two be hurting. Like, I hope they give in. But I can't be the one to give in.
I don't think you go to the extremes that I go to, because you the head, so you automatically got like this aura of.
Come on, aura.
It's what I'm doing and it's what I'm saying. So I'm like, all right, well, I have to put action to it. You don't have to do that. Like,
I got you.
I got you. You'll just be like, okay.
I think what it is for me is, I know who I am in our marriage, and you know who I am in our marriage, and I don't think I need to say, I'm the man.
No,
I'm the head. I just assume the role.
Yeah.
I just act in it and live in it, even though I understand that in order for any man to be the head of his household, of his marriage, she has to allow him to be the head by submitting to his headship, authority. Watch this, the authority that Christ gave him. Because a lot of men think that you can use your testosterone to lead outside of the authority that God gave you. If God gave you something, nobody can take it away. But a lot of men have lost their authority, just like Adam lost some dominion. God had to restore mankind. So without me getting so deep, that's to save me coming out, y'all.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm solidified.
And that's good, babe. You don't have to apologize for that. I think, it's just a matter of the balance.
Right.
And I think I've seen you.
Balance came out when you got out that truck.
And see, that's the thing.
Sober up.
I knew at that moment, because like after the conversation was a lot more compassionate, because at that point it was like, OMG.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you were like.
Well, one of the things that helped me be humble in our marriage is I trust that you don't take our business outside of our marriage.
Oh, absolutely not.
And a lot of couples don't have that level of trust in one another where we can be in a dispute or a difficult situation, an argument or a disagreement. A lot of couples don't trust that I can get into a disagreement with my spouse and she won't go and make me look terrible to her family, to the community, to my friends. And hopefully you got the same trust in me, because a lot of couples, they mess it up for themselves by telling their family too much about their spouses.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that your family is never going to love your spouse the way you do.
Not at all.
You're going to forgive and get over the hurdles.
Right.
Okay, you fuss. Some people even get into physical altercations, which we don't promote. We've never done that. We've never laid our hands on one another or thrown things that's just childish and immature. But some people would get into it and then they go and tell the close people in their life.
Right.
And then their friends like, well, we can go get them together. And then later on, you forgive them because y'all went through something trivial, but your family's still mad. And they haven't forgiven.
Do you remember, actually, I think when I got out the car, you ended up, did you call my aunt? I think you called her.
I did.
I didn't even call her.
I did. I called her.
And then she'll call me and be like, Stephanie.
Because you wouldn't answer your phone? And
well, because I really didn't call her.
Gotcha.
I think I just told you that. I think you've called her to ask me.
I said, did she come over there?
Yeah, I remember one time she called me and was like, Stephanie, Darick is trying to call you. And I'm like, okay.
Jesus.
I know.
Lord have mercy.
I know. Y'all okay? We good.
Yeah, we good. But see, that's another thing. I don't want to say, we've never been fake about our marriage, but we know what to conceal.
Yeah. But see, I didn't tell her what was going on.
That's my whole point. That's my whole point.
You figured.
Because I think you knew that I just needed some time. We'll figure it out. You know, this is nothing that's real when it comes to, we about to separate or we about to this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to show him better than I can tell.
Yeah, I got that from my mom because she just show you better than I can tell you type of person.
Lord have mercy. And you end up coming home.
It worked. That's why I do it, though, I think. It worked for her from what I saw.
I think you haven't had to do that very much in our marriage.
I've said it.
You've said it. But as far as you doing it, I think that was the first time in 22 years that you went to that extreme to get my attention.
Yeah.
And the only time.
Because you are very compassionate when it comes to what you want.
Okay.
And I don't try to go above you in that. I just feel like, okay, well, let me just do this. Like, I won't say nothing.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, for me to say something is probably easier, and then that just turned into a whole other thing. I'll just be like, you know what, let me just avoid the whole situation, and I'll just, you know, exit. So I think that's what it was, really.
I got you. So it probably was something trivial or a situation where pride interrupted. What about finances? Let's talk about finances since we've been married. That's never seemed like that. Have you ever got to the point, because I've been laid off in the past. I've been laid off. I've lost job because of, I think I lost one job when the construction site thing happened. And they fired me wrongfully and I never sued. But the point is, I've been laid off and been at the point where I wasn't making the money that I was making before. Has that ever been a factor for you concerning our marriage?
No, because I didn't marry you because of what you had. So that wasn't, I didn't go into this thing like, if you can't take care of me, like that never was me. I never, you know, I've never come saying, well, you can't take care of me. So
nope.
I don't think that was a thing. I trusted, and we were talking about this the other day because a lot of people were like, well, you know, when we were first getting married, they were saying stuff like, well, what about, you know, your money and what you gonna do? You know, you don't have this or you don't have that. For me, it was like, is that the most important thing?
Wow.
You know, and then you look at those same people that said those things, and they are not 22 years in.
Wow. And
half of them divorced. And so I think it just depends on the individual.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that it didn't affect me. Of course, you're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do?
Right.
But we stuck it out. I can remember when I think you got laid off and we had Madison. And I told her this story actually a few weeks ago, I think. And I was like, we didn't have no insurance on the car. None of our family members knew it. We didn't have any insurance on the car. We didn't have, we had we had the things that we needed to take care of Madison.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any insurance on the car. I think you were kind of going through that in-between stage of the job where you were still looking. You were looking for temporary work.
Was I tossing papers?
I don't think you ended up... No, you were tossing papers while I was pregnant. That was right after. And then, remember, you ended up getting that temporary job.
Yep.
But I remember dropping you off at work, because remember, we only had one vehicle.
Yep.
And I dropped you off at work, and you said, here's $100.
Really?
And I remember that $100, I stretched that. I went and got us some PLPD right quick.
Oh, wow.
And that was just enough insurance to get our tags, because you can't get tags without insurance in Michigan.
Gotcha.
So... but at the end of the day, it was like, but I'm still with the person that I want. I still got my person.
Wow.
And we got over that. Like, it wasn't like the end of the world. If we was going to be broke, we was going to be broke together.
I know
or
that's
if we
right.
didn't eat, we were going to, not eat together. There was another time where I think, remember you found $20 in the rain? The Lord blessed.
I remember that.
And you went and used the $20 to get fast food. I would have probably went to the grocery store. But I was pregnant.
Okay.
And I think this was still in between jobs or something. And we didn't have, did we not have, we had food. I think it was just food we didn't want, like canned goods.
Gotcha.
And I remember your mom was like, why y'all didn't tell us?
Right.
And I'm like, this was our thing. We had our little 450 square foot apartment. Was it that small?
Man, it was small.
It was small. Your brother made fun of us and said, why are you yelling for stuff in the kitchen when all you got to do is just open the door sheet? That's how small the apartment was. It was so small.
That's all cold.
But our rent was like $455.
$455, yep.
We had,
one bedroom apartment.
It was one bedroom.
But I think that's the beauty of relationship.
It was.
We grew together.
And it was our first year. Like, it didn't matter to me. Like, that wasn't important. And I don't feel like, as a wife, you should have that pressure, because we don't go off of vows no more. It's like, for better or for worse. That was a worse situation.
Yeah.
You're going to leave him just because he couldn't buy you some red bottoms? Crazy.
Wow.
Like, that is crazy. That's crazy. It's not worth it.
I think people's priorities...
Go hug them red bottoms when you're cold.
I know that's right.
That's all I'm saying.
I know that's right. I think the priorities have changed for some people over time. It used to be where my father told me years ago, before I moved out the house and we got married, he said, when you start off at the bottom, when you start off at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. And I think that has been the theme of our life and of our marriage these 22 years, almost 22 years. We started off with the small apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, then moved up to a townhome or duplex, rather, triplex, then moved up to a townhome, then moved up to a nicer townhome, then moved up to our first home, then moved to the second home, which was twice the size, and now we're in our third home, which is like 3 times the size of that. So the point that I'm making is, every step in our marriage have always got greater. Every step has always got greater. When even if it comes to what we brought in a year, which started off low, to the kind of car that we would drive, to the kind of money that we would spend. And we had children along the line in all these years. And so I think people just need hope for their marriage. They need to be reassured that what God has joined together, let no man put asunder, not even you.
Yeah.
Well, we divorced because we just grew apart. No, you divorced because you weren't willing to humble yourself and work out some things. Well, we had irreconcilable difference. What is irreconcilable? Is it the lack to forgive?
Right.
Is it the lack to humble yourself?
Yeah.
Is it and sometimes you may need some space apart. Okay, go over here. Separate for a few hours. Separate if you need to go and get a break. But we come back together. And have those conversations to reconcile. So we've had challenges like everybody else, and I haven't always been able to afford the best. But I think over the years, when we look back where we started to where we are now, God's been more than good.
But I think at the end of the day, I think it's a blessing, because even though you say you couldn't afford the best, I think it depends on who you married to say, you know, my best and somebody else's best is different.
That's true.
My best is being able to ask my kids, have you ever come home and the lights was out?
Wow.
Have you ever come home and you were cold because the heater was
Yeah.
out because we couldn't pay the bill? Have you ever needed to get
good.
picked up from a practice and you couldn't because we didn't have a
locate
vehicle?
us, so we didn't have a vehicle.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, I try to think about what's more important to me. And when we leave here, we can't
powerful.
take some of this stuff with us.
Lord have
and that's
mercy.
not to judge those people who like nice things.
Right.
But I've just learned how to appreciate what's more important.
Wow.
And that's not important to me because
That's
I
good.
didn't get the latest this. That is a pressure that you already have, the pressure of being a man, being a
Right.
black man, being,
Facts.
you know, and maybe I'm rare. Maybe I'm just
Wow.
1 in a million, and that's okay because Proverbs talk about that.
All right now.
But the thing is, you know, I'm not faking. Like, I think that you have to put yourself in a position where you can understand that he may not always be in this same place. You know, there is some challenges, and I'm learning even recently if, you know, with a couple of things we've had to, you know, maneuver recently with, you know, some finances. I'm learning that if I am feeling a certain type of way, I'll tell you and say, babe, you know what? I'm a little, you know, kind of worried, you know, I'm uncomfortable. And you'll say, I know, or I'll understand. And versus me actually trying to hold it in or, you know, be this person that just, you know, don't talk about it or don't communicate about it. I'm learning how to be more open. And I'm open when it comes to you, but I think that, you know, but I don't think that changes me as, you know, because I'm, oh, you're the weaker vet. No, that just means that I want to communicate with my husband instead of, you know, trying to figure out ways to do things on my own or,
Got you.
you know, I'm communicating. This is how I'm feeling today about this particular situation. So, yeah, I said all that to say I think it just depends on what a woman looks at as value. And my kids, to me, are the number one priority when it comes to, you know, finding out, you know, what's important.
Wow.
And I asked them, have you guys ever, you know, felt like this? I mean, they don't get everything they want.
Right.
But I'm like, have you guys ever felt like, you know, we just didn't? They'd be like, nope.
Yes.
And that's important to me.
That's good. That's
You know.
that's huge. That's huge. I think you said some key things. I think what deal breakers are is different. Everybody has their different deal breakers. So in all those moments, when we had moments where you couldn't get everything you wanted, or a moment where I was laid off, or there was a financial crisis or challenge, not one time did you consider the fact that you could have done better by yourself?
But who says I could have done better by myself? I think that I was dealt what I can handle. And I mentioned earlier that we were talking you know, now we were talking about how I just feel like since I didn't go and get these levels of education or levels of degrees, the Lord has blessed me in my area, and He's blessed you with, you don't have to worry about, you know, well, I'm gonna leave him because he don't make, you know, this much money.
Yeah.
I think by me not having access to all of that other stuff, it makes your life a little bit better.
Wow.
Because somebody who did have access to all of those things,
The bar was set high.
the bar was set a little bit higher.
And
So
expectations are higher.
exactly.
Okay.
So for me, my expectations are I'm grateful.
Wow.
When somebody else's expectation may
huge.
be, well, I can afford that. You got to be able to afford that plus some. You know,
Wow.
just for you to be able to buy me a regular purse.
Right.
I'm happy.
Well, you know what? That's what makes me want to give you the bag, as the young people say.
Yeah.
That's why I work as hard as I do. And it's funny how you said I scraped together $100 years ago just so you can get some PLPD insurance. Isn't that crazy how we throw away $100 now, just eat it away. You know, it's amazing how if you just honor God with your life and in your marriage and in your decisions, God will turn things around where you will look back and you'll say, to God be the glory. Look at where he's brought us from. But the sad thing is, a lot of people don't even, and it's sad to me, because marriage, I think, is the greatest covenant that God has established with humanity. It's a marital covenant. And it's sad that some people don't survive in their marriages long enough to see what God can do with it if you just honor your vows, honor the Lord with your marital covenant, work together, humble yourself, function in your marriage as God, his word tells us to function. And some people have never seen God work through a marriage. That's a miracle by itself.
Yeah.
Take two people who got two different backgrounds, two different expectations, two different understandings of it, blend them together, and through trial and error, sometimes struggle, sometimes frustration, sometimes argument, but work through that stuff. And I think the goal is that the twain become one.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So, yeah, you've never put me under that type of pressure when it comes to materialistic things, but that's what make a real man want to give his wife that stuff. That's what make him want to give her that stuff. You have a lot of people who have these high, unrealistic expectations, and to a real man, it's a turnoff. It's a turnoff. It doesn't matter how you would listen. You can decorate yourself like a Christmas tree. You can enhance yourself to the fullest extent. But if you have a nasty attitude, and I come home and I don't have no peace after dealing with the world and dealing with my job and dealing with life, and then things I don't want to share with you because I don't need you losing sleep. You know, let me be the one to lose sleep and to figure out certain things. And, you know, you are absolutely right. And I think it takes a woman of understanding to understand those type of things. You are rare, and it makes you even more desirable. Make you even more fine. So we've had the talks about infidelity, you know, the physical. We talked about money. What's some last words you could say to give married couples hope who feel like maybe their marriage is just over, or maybe I shouldn't have got married, or maybe I married the wrong person? What would be your last words to somebody or a couple?
My last words probably would be to, if you are a spiritual couple, I feel like you should be able to go back to the Word and find out, what did God say about you. I believe there's some scriptures in Ephesians, and there's also some scriptures, Proverbs, you know, where it gives you information about, you know, what God wants out of marriage or from you. That was my biggest thing. I wanted to know my role in my marriage. So I feel like if you're a spiritual couple, you should be studying that together, and you know, set some goals, and don't look at what that other person is not doing. You know, focus on what you could be doing to better, you know, the relationship. And for those who aren't, you know, in a covenant under, you know, God, or a spiritual situation, I think finding fellowship or finding other married couples that are successful, because I believe there's couples that are not, you know, I wouldn't say outside of God, but I believe there's some marriages that God still honors that are not, that he didn't, you know, you didn't do it in a church, or you didn't do it the traditional way, that he still honors. But I feel like you need to get around some other couples that has done it.
That's good.
And, you know, we're proof that it can be done. We've told a couple of our funny stories, and I'm sure we got a few more, but, you know, basically find out what the Word says about you, and and get with other couples who can, you know, help
I second that.
And every couple is different. So what works for one couple may not work for the other couples, you know.
Sure.
I find that the traditions of our marriage, it works. It's great. I love it. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it easier for me. I think it makes it easier for you. And it's been a success almost 22 years later. So what can I say?
I agree with it. Well, here we at almost 22 years. I'm looking forward to another 2 22-year terms with you. Gazing into my eyes like that.